Ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to another episode of the Casual Experts Show. Hi, Gulrez Iqbal, along with me, my co-host Zahid Jamro. Welcome you to this episode.
Hello guys, how are you? We are back again with another episode.
So the topic that we are discussing today is about Hitler. Zahid, would you like to tell our audience why are we discussing this topic today?
Basically, we had no idea what to discuss about anything today, so Hitler came into our minds. So today we are doing on Hitler.
And also because we are, as we've mentioned this in the first episode of ours, that we both have a background in international relations. So yes, we have come across Hitler in historical context on a number of occasions during our studies. So, and also the impact that he has had on how the 20th century politics shaped up to be on the global level, that has been very significant. So I guess we thought that this can be an interesting topic for our audience today. So Zaid, what is your perception? First of all, what is your perception about Hitler? Like, what comes to your mind when you think of Hitler?
What comes into my mind? Whenever I think about Hitler, I see that khaki uniform that he wore and the long boots and the little small mustache he had. That was a unique thing to have. This is something that comes into my mind. And later on, after reading history, there was a big impact of Hitler on European history. And after his death, there were some tremors which were left by him, and still those legacy which he left was still running in West or East Germany. Basically, these are the things which come into my mind. What are your thoughts about?
First of all, the genocide that he conducted, the mass killings, obviously that is something which needs to be condemned in the strongest words. First of all, obviously his acts cannot be justified, but keeping that aside, Hitler had a very unique personality in a way, because if you like, to the extent that we have studied him, right, there was nothing like, just simply starting off with his personality, there was nothing very extraordinary about him to begin with that many leaders would have. Why do I say that? Because the stature he got to later on in his life, that was something very extraordinary. But yes, there was one thing about him that was perhaps one of his strongest attributes, which was his oratory skills. He was a tremendous orator. Like, the way he could gather masses, he could gather people and communicate emotions to them. That was one of the most, one of his extraordinary skills, right? Like, for example, how he was able to unite German people after World War I, because he was able to communicate that not only we will only rise to our glory back again, but I will also make those people pay who was responsible for this. And this was the kind of emotions that he used to communicate through his speeches, because people were resentful. Obviously, you know that, we have studied it, right? People in Germany were resentful. They had, like, it is recorded in history that people used to get one loaf of bread, right? It would require huge sums of money. I cannot recall the exact number for it, but huge sums of money. So that is how Hitler actually gathered his power. And also the kind of childhood he had, the kind of like he was one ordinary soldier during World War One, right? That was he was in his teenagers, and there was I was listening to Jordan Peterson, and he mentioned this, that Hitler was along with his friends. They were sitting at a place, and Hitler goes up, and he goes somewhere, and when he comes back, he sees all of his friends are dead. So that has strong impacts on your mind. Growing up, you see people die, and then what happened, and also his personality had, like, he had a very strong OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder. He used to bath 4 times a day. That is extraordinary. And so when Hitler was so we know that he was against Jews, right? That is recorded in history. And as I mentioned before, that it cannot be justified, just because you cannot. No one has right to kill people on such magnitude like this. It was absolutely unacceptable, and it should be condemned in the strongest words. But I'm just trying to tell you and our audience that what kind of psychology that person had. So what Hitler did was that so there was one chemical known as Zyklon B. Zyklon B was used to kill, pesticides and all these kinds of things. He used this chemical. So firstly, he started a campaign to beautify factories in Germany, right? So that factories should be there should be cleanliness. Germany should be clean. It should be a clean place. So this chemical was used to kill insects and all. He used this exact same chemical on Jews when they were locked up in concentration camps. Now that is horrendous if you think about it. Let's just look at the magnitude of his hate towards them, that he just absolutely wanted to, so this was his thinking about them, that he wanted to clean Germany from Jews, right? This was his mentality. But so apart from that, this was one aspect of him, but like something that was in a way admirable about the way he conducted his how he conducted his troops and all. Like they were very fine looking soldiers, the Nazi Germans, right? They were very upright, very very good looking. Absolutely, like you would see them and you would say that this is a kind of this is how a soldier should look like. And there was absolute symmetry in their forces. If you see the formation of Nazi forces, they were in absolute symmetry, right? Perfectly organized. That also shows his mentality, that reflects his mentality, that he wanted order in everything. That is why this order was the primary factor due to which he wanted, according to his mentality, he wanted to clean Germany from Jews. Because he had this perception in his mind that Jews will, he had all kind of negative things in his mind regarding Jews.
One such thing was that he said in his speeches, or his main goal was to portray that the Aryan race was the biggest race in the world, and its sole goal is to rule the world. So he was not against just Jews. After winning the war, he was going to clean the world with other races also, which he thought were inferior to the Aryan race. Like many races, he would have been doing this to other races as well. And when you talk about his childhood, during his struggling times, I think he faced lot of hardships. He was looking for a job, and during that time there were a class, the rich class, the elite class, which were Jews at the time. So during that time he saw that they had a lot of money, and still the local people, the German people, were still suffering. So that made his mentality like that they are the people who are responsible for our poverty or our struggling period of the time. So I think it piled up over the time. When he came to power, he thought that this particular ethnicity or particular religious people are going to be eliminated from Germany. So this is one of the reasons that he came out hard at Jews. And secondly, I think he was a populist leader, because during his time there were economic crisis in Germany. He played with people's sentiments and came to power by feeding people that if I come to power, I will resolve all the issues that you are facing and make Germany great again. So these two were the driving forces that gave him much motivation to come to the power and unleash his hatred and force against those evil things that he thought were evil at that time. So this was the basic aim of Hitler at that time, and he somewhat was close to achieve that, because Germany was absolutely winning every war, and this gave him that so much confidence that he went into Russia in winters, where no one has ever dreamed of or have won war during the winter times in Russia, and that is the point where Germany lost the war. Yes.
He was very close to Berlin, but towards the end he lost it. But that is what so when I was in first semester of my bachelor's degree, I read this quote that power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely, right? So Hitler was absolutely powerful, and that is what corrupted his mind. So ladies and gentlemen, this was perhaps a shorter episode. We are trying to keep consistency in uploading these episodes, and that is why we didn't want to miss this episode of ours. See, this channel is still in its infancy, in its early stages, and we are trying our best to take it to a place where it becomes recognized. Zahid has to travel a long way every time we record this episode. So, but he's consistent. I'm trying to be consistent, and we'll bring many other such topics with much more focused content, with much better quality. But till then, we want you to stick around with us, support our channel, please subscribe, share it, and we'll see you in the next one. Thank you.